Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel. Peter likes books. And yes, this is a book vlog. I haven't done a book vlog in a while, but I wanted to get on here and talk about the books that I am reading this summer, because I wanted to give some recommendations and I didn't want to wait until July was over to do my August wrap-up, because I have been reading so many fantastic books in July. I also wanted to give a recommendation of a booktuber that I have become like obsessed with, and I watch all of his videos, and he's just a super nice guy and I relate to his life as well, because he's like married and has these dogs, and anyway, I love his videos, and I just like put them on and like they just run while I'm uploading my videos to my other channels. So, well, let's talk about him first of all. His channel is called SupposedlyFun, and he does great reviews. He reads all kinds of stuff. He reads young adult books, he reads a lot of LGBT fiction, he reads like Pulitzer Prize winning novels, and actually, I was watching a video of his last night when he was talking about, or responding to, the Pulitzer this year, of who won the Pulitzer this year, which, I can't remember the author's name, Louise something, but it was The Night Watchman. And, I was like, you know, I have read several Pulitzer Prize winning novels in the past, not necessarily because they were Pulitzer Prize winning novels, but just because I was like, oh, I heard really great things about this, blah, 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 blah. And one of them was The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. And so him talking about the Pulitzer Prize winning novels last night when I was watching this video got me really thinking, like, I should read more of these Pulitzer Prize winning novelists, you know, and, because a lot of them I really, really like Annie Proulx, who wrote the novella Brokeback Mountain that they ended up making into the movie, which was like, my mom gave me that book because she loved that book and movie so much. And I mean, there's just so many. Joyce Carol Oates from back in the day, I read her when I was in college. Toni Morrison, Beloved, was a Pulitzer Prize winning novelist. There's so many that I feel like I should go back and maybe every month read one Pulitzer Prize winner from like the last 10 years or something from the next year. I don't know, I was thinking about that last night. So anyway, I have read so many great books the month of July so far, and I was just like, I need to talk about these now because I want people to be able to experience these great books. You know, I can't talk enough. I'm gonna go through here and just tell you what they are, and then I'm gonna drive around a little bit. I can't say enough about Taylor Jenkins Reid's Malibu Rising. I actually talked about it in my video that I did 2 days ago, my June wrap-up. I read it in June. It is the summer book to read, okay? I mean, it is so fantastically written. I think that it falls under literary fiction, but it feels very much like a Jackie Collins novel as well to me, but maybe a little bit deeper. And then I read Dexter in the Dark when we were in Miami, and then I read The Homecoming by Cynthia Voigt, which I actually think would be like, if you're looking for a book or a series to read to your kids, you know, like when I was back in the day, my friends that had a lot of my friends that had like younger kids, at night they would read the Harry Potter books to them, and they like worked through the whole series of the Harry Potter books with their kids growing up. And so anyway, they would be looking for other series that they could read with their kids. And I actually think the Homecoming series, the Tillerman Cycle is what it's called. It's about this girl, and she's like 12 or 13, I think. Her name is Dicey, and she has three younger siblings. Yes. And her mother her mother has a lot of mental health issues. It's interesting too, because this book was written like in the 70s or 80s, and it has, actually I can tell you exactly when it was written. It takes place in the 70s or the 80s. Well, here it says 2002, but that's not when it was written, because I went back to look to see when it was originally written, and it was like a lot before that. But I think it's supposed to take place in like the late 70s or early 80s. It's interesting, her treatment of mental health in the book, because there's a lot of discussion about it, and really like a parent suffering from mental health issues and how the children understand it. It's very interesting from that point of view. But anyway, the mom leaves the kids in this parked car in the parking lot, like just to fend on their own, and they don't know that until like the next day when she doesn't come back. So they're like, goal is to go like to another state to find this aunt or this cousin that they're gonna live with. Anyway, it's kind of about their journey to trying to find a home to live in, just some home, and it was fantastically written. I then read Mexican Gothic, which I did an entire video on. The video is called This Book Was Meh. I didn't love it. I then read Camp by Lev A.C. Rosen, and it was fantastic. It's a young adult book about a gay camp, and I wish that I had gone to a camp like this when I was in high school. The identification in the book, and just the way that the author is so considerate of different, the ways that people identify with sexuality as far as like gender and things like that. It's done so beautifully in the context of not just the campers but the counselors too, and it's fantastically written, and it breaks down kind of like boundary or barriers of what I think, like when you're growing up, like what you think you're supposed to be, you know? And it's very much like if you watch my other channels, Be Too Much. I then read The Less Dead by Denise Mina, who I had read Conviction by her previously. The Less Dead was so good. I only gave it 4 stars because it wasn't as good as Conviction. But it was another one of these trying to fix. It's about this woman whose mother recently died and she had been adopted. So she wanted to go back because she's pregnant and find out the history of her biological mother, but her biological mother had been murdered. And so her biological aunt is trying to persuade her to get involved in this murder. It was so well done. I can't believe Denise Mina doesn't get more attention than she does. I mean, she is such a phenomenal writer. I then read The Babysitter, My Summers with a Serial Killer, which was June's book for a true crime book club. I'll save my thoughts for that on that. I then read Ola Poppy, How to Come Out in a Walmart Parking Lot and Other Life Lessons by John Paul Brammer, who is a columnist. He has a column called Ola Poppy that starts from when he first got on Grindr, which is an app for gay guys to hook up. When he was like in college, like people, because they would see his face, he's half Latino, they were half Mexican, they would see his face and they would say like Ola Poppy, and he had like, because he was raised in Oklahoma and he wasn't raised with any of his Mexican heritage whatsoever other than his abuela, and he didn't speak Spanish, he had like no identification to his own culture, and so it's kind of him trying to find out more about his own culture, and it's really a great book, and it's hilarious at times, and it's very endearing, and I related to a lot of it, honestly, coming out. Then I read Laura Dave's The Last Thing He Told Me. This book is so good, you guys. It is so good. I didn't know where it was going. I didn't see where it was going. It's about a woman that's married to this guy, and she has this surly stepdaughter that doesn't like her for a certain reason until you find out. And then she is like going about her day, and they're very wealthy, and she gets this note from this girl. This girl brings her this note that her husband gave the girl. It says protect her. And anyway, it's just crazy. They're like trying to figure out what happened to her husband. It reads very much like a movie that you would watch. I then read The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, which is one of my June books for Peter's Book Club. It was fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. I did not see the end coming at all. I just talked about this on my vlog last night. My good Judy, Tanya Janine, she totally saw the end coming. I mean, she said to me, she was like, I don't even know how she knew it. I then read The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, and it is unbelievable, you guys. It is. Grady Hendrix's work just gets better and better and better and better and better. I read My Best Friend's Exorcism a couple years ago, and I loved it, right? I then read last year the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I just was floored with how fantastic it was. And it was supposed to be the follow-up to My Best Friend's Exorcism, told from like the parents' point of view. A different story, but it was like the parents' story for it, is what he said. And then I read Final Girl Support Group, and I thought, it just can't get any better than what it's been. And his storylines are so unique, and they're so different. Like, he takes a very basic idea, and he spins it into this whole thing, right? Like, I don't know, and the pop culture references that Grady Hendrix weaves into his books are unbelievable. Like, just, he talks so much about, like, horror movies in this, and the whole, like, genre of horror movies, and the idea is that there's, like, 6 or 7 women, that they are in real life like final girls, like they were part of massacres that occurred. There really aren't any final girls in real life. That's really like a trope from movies. But anyway, they inspire certain movie franchises, and when you're reading the book, like every movie franchise you know, okay, I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, famous horror movie franchises are inspired by each of these girls' stories. And so it's like, flash forward, they're in their 30s and 40s, and somebody is trying to kill them again. But it's really going in, and they're in this support group. That's how it starts. They're in this support group where they've come together for 16 years, talking about, like, being final girls. And each of them has responded to it so differently. But the thing is that Grady Hendrix's characterization is just unbelievable. His plot development is just unbelievable. It's just everything. And then I just bought on a whim The Dark by Jeremy Robinson, which I have downloaded his book, Infinite, before, but I haven't read it. And so I was, I saw this on the bestseller list on Audible, and it had just come out that day and was on the bestseller list. I'm gonna start driving while I'm talking, because I just wanted to sit here to read through all the books that I had read. So anyway, the book had just, look at Josh and Jacob being in the Starbucks, just hanging out, visiting on their day off. So, yeah, I had seen this book, The Dark, on the bestseller list, and I was like, what is this? Why is this on the bestseller list, like, the day it put up? And I thought, well, maybe it was the daily deal on Audible. Well, it wasn't the daily deal. And so I downloaded it because it sounded really good. It was like this apocalyptic kind of book, right? So the book is about this guy, and he's 27, and he was in the army, and he's home, and he has PTSD. He was in Afghanistan, and he is very sarcastic and funny, and he like eats marijuana gummies like they're going out of style to deal with the PTSD. At the end of it, the author does this commentary on the fact that he is dealing with a lot of the same issues that the main character deals with, and so that he wanted to address it in the book as a way of as a cathartic process for him to work through some of his own issues, is what he said. It's really interesting, the author's note at the end of the book. So he's at the grocery store, and he notices that people are like mass buying all this food, like there's going to be a blizzard or something, right? And so he finds out that somebody has like predicted that there's going to be this 3 days of darkness, 3 days and 3 nights of darkness, where the gates of hell open and these demons come out to kill everybody, right? And he's like, yeah, this is stupid. I just need to get my stuff from my food. And he has this little chihuahua named Sanchez, and he lives with his mom and his mom's boyfriend. His dad passed away when he was 18, and they live in like this very nice neighborhood. He calls it McMansions because his dad had built this house, and so they're like living off his life insurance is what they talk about. And he doesn't really like his mom's boyfriend, but they let him live there, and he's got a crush on this girl that just graduated from art school down the street. And so they're like watching this meteor shower that night. This is not ruining it for you. And that's like the beginning. It kind of reminds me of that movie Night of the Comet back in the day, but it's much deeper than that. I mean, this book goes so deep. Anyway, and basically what was predicted is what comes true, okay? But it's so much deeper than that. Like, it's not just about like, oh, the gates of hell open and these demons come and kill people. It's like so much deeper than that. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. Like, it goes so deep, even to the very, very end. Like, to the very end, they're talking about like, it's so deep. Like, I couldn't even believe it. So anyway, I just feel so blessed that I have read so many great books this summer. And, Usually I don't like to read mysteries or thrillers like one after another, but I've continued to do that. I've actually downloaded quite a few mysteries and thrillers I haven't read yet. B.A. Paris, who wrote Behind Closed Doors, she has a new book out called The Therapist, which I'm going to read. The fourth book in the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson, I have that book. Dorinda Jones' new book comes out, I think the 26th. Tomorrow, the last, well, not the last one ever, but Frightfully Fortune, the 20th book in the Misfortune series comes out. So I will be finishing this book that I am reading tonight so that I can start listening to that book tomorrow when it comes out on Audible. I've already pre-ordered it. I'm currently listening to Hairpin Bridge by Taylor Adams, who, this is interesting. Do you ever read a book and for some reason, like, you think you know, like, the gender of the author and you don't even really ever look? I feel like maybe I figured this out before and like I forgot it. But anyway, I read No Exit, who so many people have recommended this book to me, but I read it like when it first came out, like a couple years ago, by Taylor Adams, and that might be why, because like Taylor Adams, Taylor Jenkins Reid, but I also know a lot of Taylors in my personal life, and they're all women. So I loved the book No Exit. I mean, it was really like an edge of your seat thriller book. I couldn't believe it. So this new book came out, and I think also because the main character in that book was a young girl, I just kind of have this idea that the real Taylor Adams was this young girl. Little did I know it was a grown man who's married and has kids that's writing these books, fantastically writing these books. But anyway, so I apologize to Taylor Adams. Oh, Tanya Jean's calling. But I am reading Hairpin Bridge, which is about this girl who is a twin, and her sister has supposedly taken her life by jumping off this bridge, but she believes that she was killed. So she's gone back to this bridge to try to find out, like, what happened to her sister. And I'm listening to that currently on Audible. I'm also reading The Great Book of Marlis by Linda Berry, and I am reading a Jeremy Heim book, which is called Nobody Leaves or Nobody Comes Back or something like that. I don't know. I've been reading that off and on for a while, as well as Joan Didion's Slouching Towards Bethlehem, which I want to finish this summer. I have had just an amazing summer of reading, and I am just so happy. I've already read like 8 or 9 books this month, and I'm just like one after another. I'm just like so excited. This has just been such a great summer of reading so far. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you in case you guys are looking for some good books. I would recommend any of those books that I was talking about. I really haven't read a bad book yet, except for Mexican Gothic. I probably wouldn't recommend Mexican Gothic, but a lot of people that read it thought it was beautiful. So, and Mel, my book club partner for a true crime book club, she loved it. She thought it was great. So it just depends, you know. Anyway, if you're looking for a really fun series, of course I would recommend, you know, the Misfortune series by Janet DeLeon. She's a really fun series to start in the summer, too, because Louisiana Long Shot, I believe, takes place like in July or August when it starts. And it's because it's hot in Louisiana. I remember them talking about that. So anyway, you know, I never really think about rereading books, but that's a series that I might think about rereading. I don't know. So anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. What are you reading this summer? Let me know a book that you literally could not put down. What is a great thriller that you would recommend? I'm looking for great thrillers. I want to read thrillers, I think, this whole summer. You know, I was just saying the other day that I can't read a lot of stuff like that back to back, but this summer I'm like all in it for the thrillers. So let me know what thrillers you recommend. If you're looking for a great thriller, I don't know why this is coming into my head, but The Cabin at the End of the Woods by Paul Tremblay is probably one of my favorite thrillers of life. Kayla at Books and Lala recommended that to me a long time ago. I'm going to get off here now because this video is 19 minutes long. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.